Welcome to the 90s podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 99 Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining me. As I always say, subscribe to the channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@99capitalgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.99capitalgroup.com. Schedule your appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, engage, and also entertain. Follow us on all social media channels at 99cap or at MLB to CFP. Today, we're talking about what you should have gotten from our future-proof panel. We have Andy Panko from Tenon Financial on the call today. Here's some key takeaways about running an RIA, building an RIA, and structuring your RIA for success. Let's get it. We got my man, Andy Panko, Tenon Financial. He was on the panel of this last Future Proof Festival. By the way, man, well, first of all, thank you for joining the panel, man. You're awesome. But like, give me your breakdown. Like, what do you think about the festival in general?
I think first, thanks for the invite. It was a really good time being there. I'm glad to have a chance to participate. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
It was good. It was the best way I'd phrase it is it's a traditional large financial advisory conference, but takes place outside, right next to the beach.
Yeah.
And with some more structured opportunities to network, not just with individuals, but in the context of sort of curated topic discussions with 7, 8, 9, 10 people. So there's a little more, I want to say, forced interaction with people than just like naturally bumping into folks at like happy hours at conferences, but forced almost in a good way. To sort of prearrange meeting people and discussing things.
Do you know what I liked about it? The fact that you mentioned force, but it's just the arrangement because you're not eating. Well, first of all, the food was top notch, most definitely, because it wasn't like those runny milk carton eggs and stuff. Even though I didn't really eat much. I don't eat much on conferences, but there wasn't those milk carton eggs and that bogus food. But it was like genuine, great food. And when you were eating, you had a table of people were conversing with one another. Right? We had conversations while we were eating, and it was. I think that type of structure is far better suited than me going to, or any of us going to somewhere. And they're paying somebody $10,000 to run you through like 90 slide deck. Yeah, and you're like, God dang it, man! I can't. Right. If once you pull up that slide deck, I'm done. I don't want to see it. It's over. Yeah, it's over for me, man. It's over for me. But my question for you is, so outside of just that as being the takeaway, would you go back? That's my question for you. Would you go back? Like, would you see yourself going back, doing more of these events, or was like, oh, it's a one-time thing. It was cute. Maybe I'll do it if I'm invited back. So what are your thoughts on that?
I would definitely go back as a participant in some sort. So I'm hoping, whether it's I nominate myself or someone like you, is gracious enough to ask me to participate. I definitely go back then. I don't know that I put it on my roster of just conferences to go to every year as an attendee. I don't know, mixed feelings. Like, yes, the outside thing was cool, but to be honest, it got old after a while. It's like you're in the sun all day. It's like, man, I need a break. So it was like you almost had to huddle beneath like a tent or something to get a shade. That wasn't a deal killer, but it was like, it was novel, but it got a little old after a while. I think like any conference, you get out of it what you put into it. If you go and you're just sitting there watching presentations, like, you'll get some technical knowledge and maybe some CE credits and whatever, but you have to really want to participate, to engage, to network. Again, it sounds cheesy, but you get out of it what you put into it. So it has a great mix of people, not just vendors of all different sorts, but other attendees from throughout the industry. You can find your ilk. You can find people that you want to chat with, learn from, kick around ideas with, if you put the time into it. So I like going to conferences. I like it largely for social reasons. Like, yes, I pick up a little bit here and there. So I got to sort of pick and choose wisely. I can't be going to a dozen conferences a year just to hang out. So I got,
that is not revenue producing activity.
No. So long answer. I mean, yes, I definitely see me going back every year. Probably not. I'd like to try to participate again somehow. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, we had our panel. Our panel was around small RIAs. building, infrastructure, building it together, and what we're going through in a nutshell. And let's just get into it. Like, so we're going to talk about a couple of takeaways that we hope many of you got from our meeting, even though we hope you had a good time first and foremost. But secondly, like the main key point. So the first point I want to reach out or talk about is that we're all in this together, right? A lot of this can seem as if, it's one versus the other, like we're competing. There is no way in the world, the 0.0001% chance that I get Andy's client to come over to Nine Eye Capital, or he takes my client to go over Tenon Financial. It's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to be taking clients from the big boys, like the Edward Joneses of the world and the Morgan Stanleys of the world and all the other stuff. But from a standpoint of an RIA business, we're not in competition with one another. We're all growing together. And I wanted that point, part one, to be taken away that, hey, the ocean's large. I have my little boat out there. We can all fish together and let the big yachts go out there and try to get their clients and all the other stuff. But at the end of the day, we can all survive this business together. What say you on that, my friend?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what's really refreshing about the RIA, or registered investment advisory world. It is the abundance mentality. There's plenty of people out there, potential consumers, potential clients, more than enough for all of us to go around. Now, the issue is, how do you find them? How best do you get in front of them? But I agree. Like, I'm not competing with your clients. You're not competing with my clients. That's not to say we might not eventually get one of each other's clients that we would have otherwise had.
Mm-hmm.
But people are going to hire you, your firm, for whatever it is you do and you do best, however you position yourself, market yourself, whoever you're targeting to try to work with, whatever it is uniquely that they like about you and your firm. Same thing for me. Now, yeah, there may be some crossover and overlap, but for the most part, I think we have, while we're all in the same general business, like we all have kind of different approaches and ways to do our business. We're not competing. I'll gladly help you get more exposure, get more clients. If I think you're a good fit or you can best serve someone, 100%, I'm throwing them your way. I'm not going to fight and scrap over keeping them just to try to, fluff up my own numbers. And I'm confident you do the same. So I think vast majority of us in this truly advisory, outside the big brokerage house world, have this mentality.
Yeah, have this mentality, and we want to see everybody succeed. Like, it's not yeah, we're in an eat what you kill business, but at the end of the day, we want to see people grow, because we know that other success brings everybody else success as well.
Yeah.
Now, I know that sounds a bit cheesy, because that's not the way we've been built. It's a hey, we're an axe cap. Everything you see on TV, it's either billions, and it's like, hey, I hate you, you hate me. We're gonna destroy your business. I mean, that's not how the real world works. Well, not my real world, not in the RA space, right? Another thing we talked about was niching, marketing, niching, and things like that. I've always believed that I don't want to start out with a niche, like, oh, I work with left-handed physicians that only walk sideways. You know what I mean? But I'm in the business of, well, you know what? I've been in the business for a few years, and I've noticed my book looks like this, and I've noticed I'm kind of gravitating towards this world, so let me build a model or a structure or a marketing plan towards these groups of clients, because apparently I work well with them, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, what's your idea about niching? Because I think that was a good point we talked about in our session.
I lean more toward in the camp of people should ideally have some niche or area of focus or specialization. With that said, easier said than done, unless there's some very obvious standout reason why I should be working with XYZ right out of the gate, or, people in this stage of life or circumstances are going to gravitate toward me.
Yeah.
Again, right out of the gates. I think generally starting a firm, especially from scratch, you have to keep the lights on. You kind of have to get business, whatever that may be. You sort of have to be a generalist, get what you can get. And over time, I think the niche or focus or specialization sort of naturally finds itself. And then, like you said, then you can really lean into that and sort of, change as necessary to position yourself toward that niche.
I 100% agree. I think a lot of people confuse what niching actually is. I truly believe that niching just finds you, you don't find it. And that's just me. But again, everybody's different. Everybody can ride their horse. If you want to ride your horse backwards or sideways, that's on you, my friend. I just choose to ride my horse very, very steadily. So at the conference, we ran into a lot of tech. I mean, it was like tech overload, and everything had AI, everything had this and everything like that. I am in the camp that less is more, And I think that my mistake when I first got into this business was, ooh, yes, I need that. I need this. I need that. Oh, this is going to make me so successful. And the next thing you know, you have all this tech, but you have no real revenue coming in to cover the
Right,
costs.
right, yeah.
So what set you around the tech, man? Like, I mean, like I talked about Black Diamond, I talked about Red Tail, I talked about eMoney. I mean, all these different things. I know you're not necessarily all teched out like I am, apparently, but tell me about like when you first started the business, what was your philosophy around the tech issue? Because again, I know Altruist is out there now and all these other companies are out there
Yeah.
now. So talk to me around that real quick.
It's very easy to have shiny object syndrome. There's
Yeah.
always latest and greatest newfangled tech coming out. They all have their potential value and benefits, but do you really need it?
Yeah.
Especially as a young starting out firm, like you need clients first. Like worry about the tech later. With that said, I think there's some basics you need. Now even need is a subjective term. I know some advisors who don't use planning software, who don't have CRMs, and they make it
How is
work.
that? I don't, how? I
I
don't
mean,
know how.
small, intentionally small, low volume practices where you don't have thousands of people coming and going, prospects you need to track, and I don't know. But
Yeah.
um, I started out with what I view as the basics for a truly, I knew I'd be managing investments, but
Hmm.
wanted to focus on planning software, CRM, a way to get paid. Now, if you're not charging out of assets, you need some way to like invoice and collect payment from people. So
Yeah.
some payment interface. That's kind of it, like the bare bones minimum. You need software to run the business, like accounting software, QuickBooks or
Yeah.
whatever, right? But actual
Yeah.
like in the practice software, planning software, CRM are the absolute minimum requirements. Now, again, some folks get by without them, just do it on spreadsheets or what have you, and that can work.
Hmm.
I also added on initially Social Security optimization software and realized this is all just a glorified break-even calculator. It doesn't really
Yeah.
provide much value. So
Yeah.
I ditched that along the way.
Hmm.
I did add on performance reporting software eventually because I did not have a way to do that. Now, most clients didn't care, but some asked about it. So I did
Well,
work
that's
on that.
that's that's a compliance issue, by the way, too. You got to have it because for compliance. Because if it's an auditor comes in, they want to see how do you how are you correlating this? How are you showing this? And then, of course, when you're talking about having these annual reviews, they're going to want to see like, well, how are these clients doing? I mean, are you keeping up with those annual reviews? How are you reporting these numbers when you say he's up 5%, et cetera? That's just from Texas. I don't know what New Jersey or
Okay.
anybody else looks like. So just FYI.
Yeah, I don't think it was an issue. Now, if you do provide performance, like if you say, "Hey, your account made 7%," like you better have some way to substantiate that.
Yeah.
But I found that it wasn't an issue. Obviously, the statements show like total gain or loss and whatever, but it doesn't break it out in a percentage term,
Mm-hmm.
which is what performance reporting software did. So I did add that on. Um, I mean, that's largely it at the core. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think that there's some other things, but that's the basics of it. I don't go much beyond that. Like there's additional tax projection software is something we did since add-on, highly valuable
Holistic
because
plan.
it's the only player out there, frankly. I
Yeah.
understand there's other ones, FP Alpha or something, I don't know, that
You don't you
apparently
don't
does something
use you
like
don't
that.
use like you don't actually do tax returns, right?
Well, I do. So that's why, like initially I
Drake?
had. Yes, Drake.
Okay. Hmm.
Clunky, but gets the job done.
Yeah.
So since I have commercial tax prep software that allowed me to do current year projections, when I hired and added other advisors, they weren't doing taxes, they weren't familiar with Drake, and learning tax prep software just to do projections is way overkill. So
Yeah.
that's when I got Holistiplan, which is a phenomenal tool.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, the only real alternative to actual tax prep software is Holistiplan in terms of how robust it is and user
I
friendliness.
just wish I had this conversation. I said, you got to start doing 1120s, man. Like I just wish they would start doing S Corp, all that stuff. It's just
Yeah.
they just won't do it. They said we don't have a plan to do it in the future. I said, God, Lee, if someone comes out with that, I'm gonna be like, okay, it's game time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Did
Yeah.
you? There's like, was it B&A?
I haven't tried it.
Something.
I haven't looked at anything else.
It's not very user friendly, but I mean that has the level of capabilities that you're looking for if you want to do a
Okay.
level one.
Well, just
Something to
don't. I wish
consider.
you wouldn't have told me that because now I got to look into it,
All right,
right?
rewind that. Take it back.
So I think a lot of the tech talk, quite frankly, is our insecurities, like I mentioned on the panel, because the reason why I say, oh, I have to have this wealth.com or I have to have this or I
Yeah.
have to have that because if your client's asking for it, either A, someone has introduced it to them from another firm or another person, and oh, now you don't look as clean or as magnificent in your client's eyes because you're not offering something. So I think a lot of
Yeah.
it's built around our insecurities. What say you on that?
I think so. Now with that, let me put it back on you. Like, what was
And by the
your
way,
initial
I'm
tech?
speaking from my own personal perspective. It's
Oh,
my insecurity. So,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
so there you go.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's sales in general, right? Regardless
Mhm.
of product or service, it tries to hit on what do they think your need or insecurity or pain point is, and let me
Yeah.
pitch something that addresses that and maybe more. Um, I don't know, like what did you start out with, and what was your experience with trying to find tech, ad tech, and did you overdo it? Did you underdo it?
I think I overdid it a little bit. Like I said, I started out with Black Diamond, like knowing what I know now. Nothing. Black Diamond is phenomenal. It's a great tool, but if I had access to like an altruist in the beginning, that's where it is today versus
Yeah.
where it was 3 years ago. I probably would have went that direction. But again, and also apparently Schwab has some kind of an interface because they didn't have rebalancer when I first got there. They
Mm,
were doing the move, so
yeah.
I didn't have access to any of that. And apparently they have this fee, an internal fee thing they have now. And I'm like, holy smokes! I mean, I could have done all this through the Schwab platform. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Versus
Right.
paying $1,200 a month. So I don't know. That's one thing I just wish if I was at that time where the transitions and all the other stuff with Schwab and TDA and all the other it just they I just have access to everything. So I came at a bad time, but it
Mm,
doesn't mean I can't switch.
right.
But
Right.
but but I tell everybody else, Black Diamond took me through an engineer level PhD understanding of how their infrastructure works. And now I'm like, dude, I went through this class. I'm wearing this designation with pride. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna give it up. So there you go. I'm stuck with it.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All
know
right.
it sounds
So goes
crazy,
it.
man, but it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. As long as you're happy with it.
Well, happy, sad, whatever. It just is.
You're
It
with it.
is.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
live with it. So
Okay.
a couple more things like we talked about. Well, I'm gonna ask you, so what was some of your takeaways? Like what was one of your takeaways from the event in regard to our session?
The concept of mentorship and having a mentor, or I know this was a point where you, me, and Jason slightly differed. Like you're
Mm,
firmly in the field of absolutely need a mentor, like a singular, in your case, like a person who was instrumental in you developing, learning, bouncing ideas off of whatever.
mm, mm.
My approach, and I'm not saying mentors aren't good, but I simply didn't have one. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's not to say I didn't lean on a lot of people for a lot of things.
Mhm,
Mine was through I'm in two different mastermind groups.
mhm.
And so each one of those was, five, six, seven people that we'd routinely kick stuff around with. I'm
Yeah.
very active in different advisor forums and chat groups, asking questions and bouncing ideas off of. So
Okay.
definitely taken and took and still take large advantage of community and other people to learn from, to bounce ideas off of. But I, for whatever reason, never had like a single person who's like, yeah, this is my mentor.
I got
So
you.
worked for me that way, but different strokes for different folks.
I mean, you're saying the same thing, whether it be a group or an individual. It's
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
yeah. You need some kind of guidance
Yeah.
because for me,
And
like I said, for me, Helen Stevens, Aspen Wealth Management, is a little shameless plug there for her, but she was phenomenal. I mean, a buddy of mine introduced me to her. The guy used to work for me. He went over to her at my old firm. He was a smart kid, CFA, CFP, all that stuff. I said, "Man, get out of here.
mhm.
Go do something real." You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
He stopped selling insurance. Go do something real. And I went and started my company a few years later. And he said, "You got to talk to Helen." Spoke to Helen. She said, "This is what you need to do. Do this, this, and this." I was like, "Aye, aye, Captain. Let's do
Yeah.
this." And again, I had her on my podcast recently. She's up to 570 million. She's probably about to break 600 million. She began in 2011, white female in this business. That's, as we know, it's operated by white males. It is what it
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
she's grown a significant business by being fee only, and she calls it what it is. She says, yes, she doesn't do any commissions, which again, that's fine with that. I'm on board with that. But again, I can't call myself fee only. Why? Well, because I'm still getting insurance trails from a business and yada
Yeah.
yada yada. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but
Uh,
it's what it is.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
a,
you're
it's,
right, man. Mentorship, I think, is key. And my question, one thing I want to talk about was knowing why you're in the business. How big do you want to get? Like, I mean, there's so much stuff on social media where it's like, God, Like this guy is killing it. This guy, everything he posts is about him just killing the business. His calendar is always full. He's like, man, I haven't had time to even do anything. My calendar is always full. I got clients out the yin yang. We just pulled over another $100 million in 6 months. I mean, I basically said that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit, man. And the whole social media, the social media in general is the best version of everyone. And people are not willing to show the scars. I really am about scars. So when I brought that up, like what did you get out of that conversation we had when we're talking about social media? We're talking about what it represents and how fictional it can be, and truly how business actually operates.
Yeah, I exactly like you said, people put on social media what they want the world to see and
Yeah.
think about them. Um, Also, a lot of social media is people looking to promote or grow or, get exposure for something.
Hmm.
I think I don't know who it was that first said it in our discussion, but like run your own race. That's the beauty of being small, nimble, doing what you want to do for whatever your reasons are, whatever you want out of it.
We'll get that.
You
We'll get
can
that to Jason. Let's just get that to Jason.
Okay, we'll give it to Jason. Yeah, he's not here. Throw him a little something.
Yeah.
Um, it's a success based on whatever your definition of success is. Now, granted, you need to actually stay in business. You need to
Yeah.
actually serve clients and serve them well. But whether you serve 10 clients or 10,000 clients, like if it's a viable going concern business and the clients are well served, like you're a real advisor, right?
Yeah.
You're doing you for whatever your reason is. So tune the noise out, run your own race. You have to approach this with a lot of intentionality. If you want to be intentionally big right from the get-go, fine, but just know your why. Why do you want to be big? Is it to build an empire? Is it for ego reasons? Is it because you have a lot of mouths to feed and just need the money?
Mhm.
Is it because you truly want to help an infinite number of people, and the only way to do that is just scale up your firm to the gills and get thousands of clients? I don't know. My why is I wanted as much. I started this business and structure as much for personal reasons as professional reasons, meaning I wanted the lifestyle thing, the flexibility. I don't want to work a 60-hour week every week.
Mhm.
Yes, I want to help clients. Yes, I want to make a good living. And I want to make an impact, a positive impact for the clients I serve. But I don't want to let this business get carried away and consume me and become this living, breathing beast where now running the business all of a sudden is the majority of my focus as opposed to serving my clients primarily and then also running the business.
Yeah.
So I'm walking a fine line. It's already grown more than I thought I'd let it grow,
Hmm.
but I don't regret it. I've been intentional and slow and methodical in letting it grow how it's grown so far. And I don't know what the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years look like. I feel like as each step sort of finishes itself, I'll pause, revisit, see what the next step may look like. Do I want to take it there? What's in it for me? What's in it for clients? What's in it for the folks that work together with me? And just roll with it. I don't have an end game or a big vision what this thing's supposed to look like. I'm kind of making that up as I go.
That's powerful because I think we're all in that boat in that camp. Um,
Yeah.
I think one thing that stood out to me in regards to that is that a lot of people just end up with this huge thing. Like I was talking
Yeah.
to Helen, she's like, I wasn't expecting to be 500 million. I mean, but now my goal is to get to a billion because she says when we project it and based on our growth rates and everything like that, we should be at a billion by 2031 or something like that. I was like, congratulations. And I never thought about, projecting your growth rate and all that stuff, where you're going to be, because again, depending on what markets do, depending on what business looks like, who knows
Yeah.
what growth is going to be. But like you mentioned, knowing your why, I'm 100% on board. And again, my why is similar to your why. I wanted to grow a business. First off, I wanted to get out of people telling me what I need to be doing,
Mm.
right? I don't have. I'm the world's worst employee. I'm gonna tell you right now. Like now, I'm gonna. If you give me something, I'm gonna do it this way, and then it may be like coloring outside the lines, but it's going to get done. It's going to
Yeah.
get, but then you may not be happy how it got done, how I got the answer, but by the end of the day, that's the answer, and that's the correct answer. And I got tired of people saying, no, you have to do it this way. So I just said, you know what, never mind, go do it my way. So I got my business doing it my way and growing it the way we want to grow it. And I love what I'm doing every single day. And one thing I want everybody to understand is that your calendar is not going to be full every day.
Yeah.
Everybody on social media is going to sit here and say, man, I'm just so damn busy. No, you're not. And if you're that damn busy, and you tell me this, if you're that damn busy, then you're not very efficient. Will you agree or disagree with that?
I'd agree.
Yeah,
Definitely agree.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's going to be times in the year where, you know what? And June, July, I'm sorry. Ain't shit going on. I'm like, man, I mean, yeah, you get some small rollovers here and there for people leaving jobs, but I'm like, man, I'm struggling out here, man. What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. And then you start to really think, like, man, am I the only one going through this? Andy, tell the people why they're not the only ones going through these cyclical parts of our business.
Like you said, cyclical is the best word. There's always going to be cyclical swings toward the end of the year. Presumably, a lot of stuff doesn't happen with the new clients coming over because it's
Yeah.
holidays, because it's whatever. Now, granted, it's busy operationally in your firm, getting year-end stuff done at your custodian, but there's going to be natural ebbs and flows throughout throughout the year. I mean, I guess there's firms that are just so busy, so swamped. Like, I don't know, maybe the big national ones, the Edelman Financial Engines, the Fisher, that just have this massive marketing funnel and just this nonstop flow
Yeah.
of people reaching out. Sure, maybe those are operationally full any given day, but even then, you're going to be siloed in your role. You're going to be just an onboarding person, just a marketing, just a whatever, right? For the smaller firms where you wear multiple hats, do different things throughout the course of the day, week, and month, yeah, there's going to be ebbs and flows. Um, one thing we mentioned in the panel was you don't need to be like the beacon of max efficiency if you don't
Yeah.
want to be. With a small intentional firm, if you want to keep your client load to a manageable level, like you will have lots of downtime
Mhm.
throughout your days, and that's fine. Like don't let some other talking head tell you you're being inefficient or you're doing whatever or you're just playing a certain role. Like if that's what you want, good for you, right? Run your own race. Um,
They call it playing office. You're out here playing office, man.
that might
If
be
you're
the
not
term.
busy, you're
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
office.
I play office a lot, and that's intentional. Like there's days like that's what I want to do, and it's not detracting me from running the business how it needs to be run, how I want to run it from best serving clients. You don't there's not 24 hours a day of needs to address clients, right? Like that ebbs and flows as well. So, um,
That is the most important point I want to get across this entire podcast here today is because there is no like people feel like you're not doing something if you're not doing something. Like I just feel like
yeah,
I'm out on my patio, I'm smoking a cigar, I'm watching CNBC, and I'm texting or talking to a client. Is okay, now what are you doing right after that? And do I need to be on another call or another call or another call? No, you don't. Just because you're not doing something at every minute of the day doesn't make you inefficient. Don't feel
yeah.
that way because social media, like I said, will make you feel that way every minute of the day.
Yes, I struggled with that at first, coming from traditional corporate and institutional banking world, working for big firms. Every day was filled with something. If there's always a backlog of things that I have to do. So if you weren't doing something, it was like, yes, I'm being inefficient. Now, granted, sometimes you just need to break and turn off for a bit, but very different when I started this. There's many times it's like, all right, now what do I do? Like clients are served. There's nothing else pending or even nothing proactively I need to do without making work for the sake of making work. And I got okay with that. So now I'm comfortable with the downtime and realizing like, yeah, this is flexible. You don't need to always be running and doing something. Other people, different story. Other people, they want to maximize every single iota of their time to the nth degree and make their whole life some experiment in maximum efficiency and put a dollar amount on the value of their time, which I get the concept behind it. But some folks are like, if I'm not doing something that's generating $1,000 worth of revenue with my time, it's not worth it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to hire someone to do it.
Yeah.
That's fine if that's the race you're running. But
Yeah.
like you said, don't let others on social media beat over your head. This has to be how you do it because it's not.
The reality is like you could fill our books. I could literally have every single day of just like to-dos. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. Like I can be like,
Yeah.
okay, today I'm going to do this, put it here, put it on my calendar, and my calendar is full to the brim every single day. I don't want that because I know that, quite frankly, I'm just that right there is not really that important, and I can do it throughout any other day. It's not a
Yes.
huge thing I need to be doing right now, but I can put it on my calendar if I want to, and I can seem very efficient, but it's just not that valuable. My most important thing in this business, the elixir to your company is revenue, and you should be doing something from my perspective that's going to maximize or generate that next level of revenue. And that's where you need to focus on all that little crap.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like, okay, that's just, I don't want to do it. I can find some other time to do that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you don't have recurring revenue, like we don't have a business and this
Don't
whole
have a
thing,
business.
this whole thing shuts down. So
Yeah.
you
Last
do need to
question,
have a
my
focus on
friend.
that.
Last question. Thank you for joining me. I got Andy. Tenon Financial. Give me your main, well, outside of what we already talked about. If you were sitting in the seat listening to us talk, what would you think? Okay, this is a great takeaway. I would have gotten away from this conversation. I know we've already talked about two or three, but if this is, say, you're listening to us banter about don't go chasing waterfalls, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to.
That's right.
Having these conversations, like what would be your takeaway if you're an audience member?
Be very intentional about what you're doing and why. Every decision you make should work toward that. Run your own race. Tune out the noise of other people telling you what you're supposed to do or should do. Mm-hmm. As long as what you're doing aligns with what you want out of the business for yourself and your clients, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
My main takeaway outside of those beautiful, it was eloquent, by the way. That was great.
Thank you.
Now, no more LinkedIn fights. I'm out of the LinkedIn skirmishes.
Yeah.
Kevin Thompson is no longer in LinkedIn skirmishes. I'm just going to ask a question, hopefully try to change the perspective, and then I'm walking away. I'm not coming back in those threads anymore. Those 3 to 5 and 10 to 12 links, no more of those. Kevin Thompson is out. That's my goal moving forward.
That's a noble, respectable goal, and I should probably institute that myself, but I know I won't. So
it's hard
for you.
It's very difficult.
It is, yes.
Andy, man, thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate you. I love what you're doing. Don't ever stop. And hopefully, like, we'll meet again in the future, do another one of those panels or whatever, man. It was just a great, fun time, and people enjoyed it, man. That's what it was about. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
We just had my man, Andy Panko of Tenon Financial on the 9 Innings podcast, talking about small RIAs, our future-proof panel, what you should have gotten out of it, our takeaways that we got out of it, and hopefully some of the things that we clarified for you guys. I hope it was a valuable interaction. 4,000 people. We had about 100, 150 there at our panel. It was a wonderful, wonderful event. As you always know, what I want you to do, subscribe to the channel. Go and get my book, MOB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. You have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at info@99capitalgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.99capitalgroup.com. Schedule your appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, engage, also entertain. Follow us on all social media channels at 99cap or at MOB to CFP. Hope you guys got a lot out of this session. Fun times with Andy. Thank you guys for listening. Stay humble, stay safe. I'll see you again soon.